When I was younger, I went fishing with my dad. Now, there's not a lot of stories that I share about my father because he died of cancer in '94. And there's some truths that come through these video blogs about losing my dad early and a number of things. But today I want to tell you a funny story that happened, I think, when I was a teenager. And he decided he was going to take me fishing with one of his clients who was very well to do. And so he said, we're going to go fishing. It's not going to suck, because I hated fishing then. I really hate fishing now. I only do it because my sons like to do it. I can't stand it. I've never been good at it. But yet this day, my dad said, it's not going to suck. We're going with so-and-so who was very well to do. We're going to go out. It's going to be a great time. So we went fishing off the coast of Laguna Niguel in California, and walking into the dock, I thought for sure we were going to be on this huge fishing boat. It was going to be phenomenal. We were going to be like these guys on TV, you know, Deadliest Catch or something. We showed up to this little fishing boat. It was big enough for 4 people, and it was exactly that. My dad's client and his son, my dad and me. You could not fit safely more than 4 people on this boat. So we go out fishing, and we have a miserable time, as I had expected. And the client wants to drop anchor, and he does. And we are starting to fish. Nothing about it is fun. And a storm rose in pretty quickly. And all of a sudden it's getting really rocky. And to the point where now I'm kind of like, I don't think we should be out here in this little fiasco of a boat in this kind of water. I'm not a fisherman, but I know enough to tell you this is scary. And then it gets worse. And so finally the client, after a strong bidding from my dad, says, yeah, we should go in. So now he is trying to get the anchor unstuck. True story. We are now doing circles in this boat, and I'm holding on for dear life. The client's son is holding on for dear life. We are bouncing like crazy in this area outside of Laguna. And I'm now seasick as can be. I've already thrown up once. The younger son has thrown up because he watched me throw up. My dad is now pretty fired up, angry, and we're still doing circles trying to get the anchor free. In the middle of chaos, my dad comes up with a great idea. And he says to the client who's doing circles, trying to break the anchor free, he says, Jack, why don't we just cut the anchor? And Jack looks at him like, it's an expensive anchor. My dad says, this is getting dangerous. And Jack says, you're probably right. He reaches down underneath the compartment with these big, I forget what they're called, cutting shears, and cuts the anchor. We break free. We come on into the dock, and the misery is over. I think it's an important lesson because there's times where we, who are in recovery, have to cut the anchor. Now, I'm not saying that you cut the anchor of your spouse. I'm saying that there's some things that seem like they should be helping you. And it's really sneaky because it's very counterintuitive. There's anger that you think, yeah, this is helping me. There's self-reliance that you can think, man, it's helping me. There's rage. There's this investigative, obsessing over details. There's this ambivalence. And we get anchored to those things and we think that those things are helping us, but there comes a point where you have to really decide, you know what, I'm going to cut the anchor and stop circling in chaos and stop circling in confusion and frustration and anger and finally get back to the harbor. Now, the first question is, I don't know what the harbor is. I don't know if it's divorce. I don't know if it's separation. I don't know if it's restoration. But I do know that if you're continuing to circle, there's a point where you have to say, we can't keep doing this. We have to cut some things loose. You have to realize if you don't cut some things loose, you're going to capsize. And what I have learned is that when you think it can't get any worse, it can get worse. A lot of you probably just chuckled because you were at a point where you thought, man, how could it get any worse? And oh, it can always get worse, believe me. But it becomes really deceiving because some things that we think are helping us, predominantly it can be anger, and it can be this self-reliant, I'm going to overcome this, I'm in control, and that actually we think is helping us, but it's actually spinning us in circles. And one of the best things that you can do is cut it loose and say, this isn't helping. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to get to expert help. I'm going to get help beyond us. I'm going to drop this therapist that's not helping us, or drop this program that's not doing us any good, or stop doing this or that. But I'm going to cut the anchor. And for some of you, there may be lots of anchors. If you will cut them, I'm confident it'll set you free from the spinning in circles, and it'll keep you from capsizing, and it will finally get you back home, even though I don't know exactly what home is for you. What I do know is you're probably tired of the circles. You're probably tired of the sickness at not gaining any momentum. You're probably frustrated at a point where you've never been frustrated before. It's at that point that you have to stop doing what you're doing, expecting a different result. Cut that anchor. I don't know what it is. Cut it and set yourself free.